nervous because I usually speak to parents groups. This is, I think, only the second time that I speak to teachers. However, let me talk a little bit about me. I'm the son of a migrant worker, and I came when I was 12 years old. I worked in the fields, not too far from here in Oxnard and in Woodland Hills. There used to be some farms over there. My objective in life has always been to help minority students and at-risk students. Today I'm very happy, I'm very humble that I get to talk to you guys. I know a lot of you guys, or all of you guys, work with students that have a lot of problems. Oftentimes, you are the last resource for them. Oftentimes, these young people have no hope, and you guys give hope. My friend told me to stop saying you guys, but I keep saying you guys, I'm sorry. But you guys, you have hope, you give them hope, and really, without you, a lot of them will fall through the cracks. And so I want each one of you guys to give a hand for the hard work that you guys do. Give each other a hand. Okay, so I'm going to start my presentation. In order to talk about parent involvement, I'm first going to talk about my journey. I come from Mexico, from a small farm community in the state of Guanajuato. Is there anyone from Mexico here? Yes or no? Yes. Is there anyone who comes from a farming community? There are a couple of people. So, at the age of 12, I decided to come with my father to the United States to work in the fields. We were very poor, so I decided to come with him to the United States to work in the fields. I honestly hated school. I hated to go to school. I would go to school, my father would take me to school, and I would go right back home. Not that I didn't like the school. At the time I thought I hated school just because I didn't like academics. But really the reason I hated school was because I was being bullied. So I know what being bullied is like. And really, one year I asked my father, I said, you know what, next year when you go back to the States, I want to go back with you. I just want to be with you. I don't want to be here. And really I was escaping, the people that were bullying me. So that's how I ended up coming to the United States. When I came, I used to live in a trailer home. I lived in tents as well. The life of migrant workers is very hard, very difficult. And my father used to work for these two Italian guys in the valley that, they had strawberry farms and corn farms. And one day I asked my father if I could come with him to the field because I would get bored at home being alone. And so I remember my father's boss said, okay, you could come, but you're not going to work because you're too young. I was 12 years old at the time. So I kept coming to the field and, just kind of hanging around with the workers. Finally, one day, one of the workers didn't make it to work. And he said, well, can you pick a couple of boxes of strawberries so you can help us out? I did so well, I think I picked more than anyone else, that he said, well, can you help us tomorrow? And that ended up being like 3 years of working in the fields. Like I said, I really didn't think I wanted to go to school. I was very reluctant to go to school. I had a lot of fears. And so, growing up poor is very difficult. I remember after school going home, I would take an alternate route so that people didn't know where I lived. So they didn't know that I lived in a trailer home or that we lived in a tent or whatever. So I would take alternate routes. It was very hard. And the only thing, though, that always helped me, even though my father never got a formal education, he always had a dream that I get a formal education. So he would always say, in Spanish, mijo, I want you to be somebody one day, I believe in you. So these words were always there. That was his dream, and that is the dream of most of the parents that we service. But oftentimes they don't know how to access education. So that's what has been my crusade for years. I really wanted to help these type of families navigate the system so they could have an access to education. So the parental support, like I'm saying, it's key. It was a big deal having parental support. So while working at the farm, maybe 1982 or 1983, I can't remember exactly, there was a key event that took place in my life that it was really an epiphany that really changed my life. So these particular farmers, they would grow corn and strawberries. So one day, in a hot day, summer day, just like today, we were picking corn, and this older man collapsed right in front of me, and he was taken to the hospital, where later on I found out that he passed away, that he died. And to me, it was that moment in my life where I kind of saw my whole future ahead. And I said, you know what, if I don't do something, I will probably end up like him. And so that was like my eye-opener. And then I started thinking about education in a different light. Then after, I think it was the summer of '93, my father said, you know what, I'm gonna take you to school and I'm gonna sign you up for a school. So I went to a local school in Woodland Hills, which doesn't exist anymore. And I was taking ESL classes, was very lucky that there was a wonderful woman by the name of Guadalupe Mendoza. She kind of took me under her wings, and she believed in me, and she started telling me, you know what, you're intelligent, you have talent, you could do this, you could do that. And this is what I tell the parents all the time. Sometimes what we need is we need someone that actually tells us that, because we don't believe in ourselves, and especially when no one in your family has ever gotten an education. You need those people more. So for that reason, educators such as you play a huge role, because, like I said, the kids that you help are the kids that often fall through the cracks. And I know that if I didn't have someone that helped me like the way I did, there were several people along my path that helped me, and they made the biggest difference in my life. The first victory, or what I consider the first victory in my life, is when I graduated from middle school. I know a lot of the kids don't realize that it's not an important deal. They go to a high school diploma, college diploma. For me, that was the first time in my life that I felt that I could succeed. So at the time, it was just my father and myself here. I have 3 other siblings, 3 sisters. So my sisters and my mom were living in Mexico. And so the only person present at my graduation was my father. For my father, it was such a big deal that I graduated. Like he said, you know what, we're gonna go and buy the suit and everything. And so that was a very important moment in my life, because it really was sort of like the platform to keep going. It was like, if I did this, I know I could achieve bigger things. And after that, my father's support became even bigger, because he was, in essence, he was living vicariously through me. His father died when he was 12 years old, so he always wanted to go to school, but he never had an opportunity. And so he started living vicariously through me. And so again, parental involvement. having the parents be or partners is key in achieving good results. So I went to middle school, I graduated from high school. I actually graduated from El Camino Real High School, which is where I'm currently a dean at that school. And so after I graduated, I went to Pierce College, community college. And quite honestly, I knew that I wanted to do something, but I was lost. I was very lost, because even though I knew I wanted to have a higher education, I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. There were times when I thought about, you know what, I'm just going to drop out. However, there was one day, walking through the hallways in Pierce College, I saw this flyer. It's a trip to UCLA. And honestly, I just wanted to see what UCLA looked like. I knew I had no hope to go to UCLA. I wanted to know what it looked like. So we went on, this was a Friday, we went on a field trip to UCLA. And when I'm there, I meet this lady who would later, I call her like my guardian angel, Margarita Regoso. This woman had a lot of connections with UCLA, started introducing me to people. And that same day that we went, it happened to be the first day when the new students go, how do you call it, the orientation day. It was orientation. And so I fell in love with the school, and I don't know, I started dreaming. In this trip, I met this young lady from El Salvador. She had been in the United States only for 3 years, and she said to me, you know what, I got accepted to UCLA. I didn't know her. We had a conversation, but I was so happy for her. I was so happy for her because seeing her succeed made me think, you know what? She's been only here for 3 years and she's been accepted to UCLA. Why can't I do it? And so, you know what? I started dreaming. And so at the end of the day, when we came back to Pierce College, Margarita said, you know, whoever wants to find out their chances of attending UCLA, come to my office on Monday. Well, I couldn't sleep during the whole week. I was thinking about this and the possibilities. 6 o'clock in the morning, I was at her door at Pierce College. 6 o'clock in the morning, so she comes in and she says in Espanol, "Soñaste con UCLA, didn't you? You dreamed with UCLA?" And I said, "Yes, I did." So she goes, "Well, give me some time. Let me get set up." And so she looked at my transcripts and everything, and she said, "You know what, Angel, I'm not a dream killer. Let me tell you, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good." So I had 6 more academic classes to take, and she said to me, "Well, you know what? Are you going to be committed? Are you willing to put the time?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And then she says, "Well, if you are, I am too." And so at that moment, we kind of created a partnership. And so, you know, now it's like I had a blueprint. If I do this, I could get to this point. And so I saw like the light at the end of the tunnel. I was really not motivated. And sometimes this is what happens to our kids, to our students. They lose sight of what could be because they need that motivation. And I know you as educators bring that. I know that alternative education teachers and continuation teachers, I always think of them as a different breed of teacher, as a different kind of teacher, because they're believers. You know, they're kind of dreamers themselves because they believe in the people that no one else does, sometimes not even their parents. So, anyways, you know, I did get accepted to UCLA. I was very, very fortunate. I remember when I got my letter of acceptance, it was hard till the last minute. It said, "We regret to tell you that we cannot accept you this quarter, but we can accept you next quarter." So it was great, you know. And so for a guy that grew up in a place in Mexico where we had no running water. We had to take the water out of a well. We had no electricity. And and to think that I came to the United States for the wrong reasons. I came because I was being bullied. And I really been blessed to have had so many opportunities and to have key people in my life, like this lady, Margarita Reynoso. So finally, when I got accepted to UCLA, I came back to Margarita. I had some flowers, and I said, Margarita, I don't know how to thank you for what you did for me. She said, you know what, Uncle, the only thing that I want you to do is to help other people when they need it. And that's always been my mission. That's always been my crusade, to help other people when they need it. I guess I am nervous. So this lady was the kind of lady that goes above and beyond the Call of Duty. She was one of those mentors with a passion to help. One of those people who truly care about people and truly want to make a difference. And I will be indebted to her for the rest of my life. She was an individual with a vision to help future generation of minority students and those at risk, regardless of nationality or economic status. And so that's how I see my job as an educator. Raise your hand if you see your job as an educator in those terms, that you're there to help. Very good, very good, thank you. So, we knew that when we signed up to be educators, we knew that we were not going to be millionaires, right? But the thing that I know, I love my job. I love working with these kids every day. I always tell people that I love what I do, and then on top of that, I get paid for it. So it's great. I'm happy because a lot of people, they may get paid a lot of money and what have you, but they're not happy. I know that we're there for a reason and we have a purpose. Okay, so when I came back to El Camino in 1995 after graduating, I started noticing one thing at El Camino. El Camino at that time, it's in the West San Fernando Valley in Woodland Hills. It was probably 50% Anglo and the rest, maybe 40% Latino and the rest like mixed groups. And I started noticing that our minority students and our, especially our Latino students, they didn't have the same access to information. And so I came and I was teaching Spanish, and I started noticing that there was no meetings for these type of kids, and I started forming groups with the parents that at the time their kids used to be bused in from LA, and started forming groups. I was very lucky that I had key administrators that believed in what I was doing, and they helped me. They provide places to meet, some funds to buy like snacks for the parents, etc. So I always say this. I don't know who coined this. I don't know if I coined it, but I always say that information equals power. When you are informed, you have power. Okay, and so I always tell people that I stumble into education. I stumble into UCLA and into everything that I've done and been blessed to achieve, because no one in my family had ever gone through this. So I had to knock doors, and through information, I was able to succeed. So it is very important for me that we get the parents involved. They're our best partners. So I started helping students at the school when I came back. I started helping them with anything I could, with their essays for college, with their applications, started taking them to trips to schools because I know that made a difference for me. And really what I was doing, I was passing on the legacy of my mentor, Margarita Reynoso. I started creating connections with the community, with administrators. There's always an administrator that is going to have your back, people who believe in you. and I remember these two administrators. One of them, her name was Arlene Cornell, and another gentleman, Larry Markle. They truly had my back when I wanted to help at-risk students. They were there with me 100% of the way. So when we want to make a difference, we need to find people to help us, to help us advance our vision to better serve the community. When we want to help the community, we need to develop a vision and develop strategies. How are we going to bring these parents here? We need these meaningful partnerships. We need key parents eager to collaborate and affect positive change. Can you guys raise your hand if you could think of a key parent that you know in your community that is going to have your back when it comes to helping the students? Do any of you guys have someone like that? You do? Okay. So it is important to have these people. It is important because they will help you recruit other parents and they will help you in the process. We need key students with fresh ideas to help their school and their community. There's a lot of students that are willing to help. Okay, you need to give them that role, and they're gonna fly with it. They're gonna do a good job. And key community organizations. It's all about being connected. One of my biggest philosophies is about collaboration. I really believe we cannot do it alone. We could do it better. We could do a better job as educators when we have the help of the parents and all the stakeholders. Parent inclusion. A lot of parents have fears. They have fears that they're going to be rejected. They have fears that they don't know enough to enact positive change. There's a lot of myths as well. Nowadays, with the political climate, there's a lot of fear with some of our parents. I had students that I'm not going to get political, but I have some students that have come to me and really expressed their fears. So we need to embrace those parents and the students and tell them, you know what, we're there for you. Because some of them already have enough problems in their life. So oftentimes, the way schools get students or parents to participate is they will do a generic phone message or they will put a flyer. My philosophy is always that we need to have a personal touch. In my parent groups, what I do is once I have my organization, my key parents, my key students, and I have the support of administrators and key teachers, I team up with these stakeholders to call parents, to make that personal phone call home and say, you know what, we need you here, we need your opinion, we need your input, because when we know the needs of the students, we can help better. Now, once we have the parents at our meetings, the material, the information that we give them has to be very important. Because remember, these are hardworking people, so if they come and their first impression is not that good, they're not going to come back again because they're going to say, you know what, it's a waste of time. But if you're there and you have meaningful information that is going to help their children succeed, they will come back over and over again. I have these, before being an educator for a little while, I used to be a manager for a grocery chain. And one of the things that I learned, it was about customer service, okay? So besides the fact that I love the kids that I teach, and I always try to do what's best for them, I always see them, I think of them, well, if it weren't for them, I would not have a job. If it weren't for the parents, I would not have a job. So I always want to be that one person that helps them solve the problem that they have. So, I really would like to encourage every single one to have that mindset where we are there to service their needs. So, empowering parents by seeking their help and opinion. once parents' opinion is taken into consideration, they feel empowered, and they're going to do things for you. They're going to help you doing fundraising, what have you. They'll do everything for you if they believe in what you're doing. The importance of belonging. Parent inclusion leads to ownership. If they feel included, they're going to feel like they own part of the school, they own the educational process, and they're going to be there for you. Giving parents a voice and a seat at the table pays big dividends. It really pays off when parents are there with you. Creating meaningful partnership with active parent groups is vital. So, bring your PTSA groups, your, whatever groups that you have at your school. Like at El Camino, we have Friends of ECR. All these people are of great help. Now, an informed parents is an excellent ally, advanced in successful and academic agendas. If they know what you're talking about, they will be there for you. Now, I know that nowadays, there's the big movement with LCAP. If the parents, we really need the parents for that. And so, your parents are going to be of great help if you tell them what everything is about, if they have the information. So some important considerations, and I'm pretty sure you guys know that. One size does not fit all. Every student has different needs. And the only way that we can know their needs is to actually talk to the parents, to have that communication. I always say that information should flow from the school to the house and from the house to the school. That should always be a constant. And then also, what I find out, the parents' level of education, it's a big deal. It matters because, some of them could even be part of your team in helping the other parents. And, we have to kind of customize our help towards them. So we have to focus on individual needs through communications, Parents in general do care about their students' success. Sometimes they don't know how to, or most of the time, they don't know how to help them, okay? And that's the problem. That's where the partnership comes in. Many parents do not know where to start when it comes to their children's education. So now I'm going to focus specifically on the book. In 2010, after working with parent groups and doing what I could to make a difference, I had an idea of writing a book. So I went to my friend, Jose Gonzalez, in the back, and I said, Jose, I really want to do something so that we could help Latino parents navigate the school system. And Jose, he had been retired for 1 or 2 years. He said, I don't think we have enough to write about. So I wrote something I had written something on a notebook. I took it to him. He started typing it, and he became really excited. Oh, we got something really exciting here. So at the beginning, our first focus was the Latino community, how to help them. So we wrote a book called El Éxito Empieza en Casa, Success Begins at Home. Who here believes that success begins at home? Raise your hand if you believe. You know what? It really does. You know what? As a parent, as a teacher, when you see a student, you know what kind of work is being done at home. Okay, so we started, the first vision, like I said, was for the Latino community. That was our first focus. And it started like a little game, really. I didn't think we would be that successful. And then we started doing some presentations, and then people started inviting us. All of a sudden, we were invited to Latino media outlets. We did some interviews for Univision and Telemundo and Mundo Fox, and we did. And of course, I was just as nervous as I am right now. So, and we did some interviews for radio stations across the country. So, it was really nice because we put our heart into it, and we really we did some research, and we put a lot of work into this book. It's simple, and it's an easy read, and it had a lot of success with people. LA Central Library was one of our first customers. And we had some important endorsements from really important people. And like I said, I don't know, I think we've done, I don't know, maybe 500 presentations to parents. I'm not as nervous when I talk to parents like I am right now. Anyway, so facts about parent involvement. So in the book, you will find this type of information. Students whose parents are involved earn higher grades and venture into taking more challenging classes. That's a fact. Students generally pass their classes, earn credits, and are promoted to a higher level. All because parent involvement. I have this analogy. Have you guys ever seen a peacock when they have their feathers like that? So they're usually happy, right? They feel proud. So really, when kids will not tell you, but really when kids feel supported, they feel proud. They feel proud of their parents, and they feel connected, and they're like a peacock, you know, with their wings and feathers extended, and they do very well. Students attend school regularly. The students have superior social skills and exhibit better behavior and adapt better to school. You know, there's a fact that 30% of the students who do not graduate from college is due to the fact that they don't have good social skills. They don't have social skills. They're very shy. I used to be one of those. And that's probably why I'm so nervous here. Before, even though I knew the answer, it was like I wanted to raise my hand, but it was like some kind of strange force kept it right here. Because I was just so terrified of speaking. So, see, I'm doing all these things that I never thought I would be doing. Okay? So students graduate from high school and continue on to a post-secondary education. So my source for that, National Coalition for Parent Involvement at Johns Hopkins University. The book is simple, concise, very complete. I also believe in the importance of early education, so there's a lot of material on early education. Book is based on primary and secondary sources, a lot of research, interviews. The book is based on personal experience and anecdotes, 24 years almost of teaching. And it's really a guide to navigate K through 12 education. So this was her first book, El Éxito Empieza en Casa. And so that was back in 2011. You know, I don't know if I said this, but most people that do a self-published book usually sell about 100 books because they sell to their friends and they sell to what they call the warm market. Well, we're going on about 3,000. We have sold about 3,000 of this little book without any promotion, anything, word of mouth. Okay, so that was very nice. This is our English version. Success Begins at Home, and this is more complete because it has a section on bullying, and it has a bullying prevention. It has a section on drug prevention, drug addiction. And this is our last book, Cómo ayudar a nuestros hijos a triunfar en la escuela, how to help our children succeed in school, 25 essential pieces of advice. So, the objectives of the book are to empower the parents through meaningful information, to prepare parents to be active participants, to empower teachers and administrators to guide families and students. The book could be read by families. The original idea was that parents and students would like partner up, but it could be used like as a text also. You could use it in the classroom setting. It's divided into in a format that is very easy to use for that. So there's an organization, it's called Reforma, the National Association to Promote Library and Information Services to Latinos and Spanish speaking. So they wrote a whole article, but I'm just going to say this is what they said. For public library service and Spanish speakers who may be unfamiliar with the educational system in the United States. So this organization is nationwide, so that was a big endorsement for us. since we're not like mainstream, it was a self-published book. And then Los Angeles Public Library, the Central Library, there's a woman by the name of Pat Cuesta, manager of the multilingual collection. She said this book is a must. Every family should have a copy at home and use it as a tool to navigate the school system. So we were very happy and very honored that she endorsed us that way. And I don't know if you guys know who this man is. You guys know? Anyone know who he is? Danny Trejo, or Machete, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, Danny Trejo is a good friend of mine. Met him a long time ago, and he believed he's always helping the Latino community, and he believed he's helping us. Now he said, this is his quote, "Every good thing that has ever happened to me has come as a result of helping someone else." And I think the same. Every good thing that's ever happened to me has come as a result of helping someone else. So this is the end. I wanna end by saying I challenge every administrator and educator in this building to develop a closer bond with students. And I assure you that such collaboration will yield positive results for you as an educator and your school's academic plan. Thank you very much. By the way, if you're interested in acquiring some of our books, Jose over there in the back, raise your hand, has some copies if you're interested. And we're also available for presentations. We do not charge for parent presentations. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Angelo. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. A couple of things that come to mind, of course, is that parent engagement is part of our LCAP requirements.